people out there who order martinis,
Yeah.
how should they order a martini?
There's so many bad bartenders out there. I look at the menu. I'm like, I'm going to get something foolproof. I can assess what the bar is going to be like.
What are your top traits for a spectacular bar?
I would say the quality of... Cheers.
Miss Brynn Smith. So I made an old fashioned with the holiday spice bitters.
Very nice. We got a little scotchy scotch here.
Scotchy scotch.
And I very much appreciate, Nate, that you have the lemon peel.
I know. I was just like,
Good boy,
I still like the orange peel, but I was like, Brynn's here. I got the lemon peel.
Fuck yes.
What's the reasoning?
sorry.
Can you're more than welcome to cuss.
Okay, great. No, just because lemon brings out the notes of a scotch so much more than orange. Again, if you want to have orange, awesome. But with scotch, lemon.
Do you, so there's some bars right now, I think Thunderbolt was the first place that I've seen it at, was they use like atomizer spritzes of an orange zest or like a lemon zest instead of like an actual orange or a lemon peel. Like, how do you feel about that?
I think that that's cool. You know, maybe it's for fast. You know, I wonder if it's diluted in any sense, being like a water, because then it would be like not as concentrated as like an essential oil.
It just, all you see is liquid in a glass with no garnishes though.
Yeah, no garnishes. And also the essential oils, I guarantee you he's not doing like super concentrated, but I don't know, Mike Capaferri is amazing, so.
Oh, you know the director over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my friends bartends there, and I think it's one of the best bars. I saw that you...
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I've always voted for it. I think it's such a good casual spot.
What do you mean voted for it?
Oh, for like, you know, like top 500 of the world and top 50 in North America.
So for those rankings, who's voting on them?
It's industry professionals, like of all sorts. I just got asked last year and then this year I think for it again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And it's my friend, you know, some of my friends are writers and stuff like that. And they know that I'm a person in the industry that's
So do these people like reach out to industry professionals and just like, what are your top 5 bars?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can't vote for yourself, which sucks. I'm just kidding.
Shouts out Bar Next Door.
Bar Next Door. No, we just opened, but like, you know, for me, it's like
it's doing so well.
Yeah,
isn't it cool to see that you're? I guess it's like your little baby. You've created like this cool drink menu and like curated the bar. It's been a part of it for a long time, and see like it on Eater happening. And like all these cool. It's really cool on podcasts and
No, it's cool. It's like we're
what's
doing
that feeling
something
like?
Special. It's good. It's like it's hard right now because I'm in month 2, and there's moments where I sit back and I'm like, oh, I did this.
Sure.
Wow, like this is so exciting. Like this is a moment. I have a friend who said, and it was actually kind of a moment, I've repeated it to the owner of the bar too, where she's like, Brynn, the world stops when something opens on Sunset Boulevard. Okay. Yeah. And I'm like, you're right. Like it's such an iconic street that like for me, it's like, oh my God, cool. And we're doing something special. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there isn't a neighborhood craft cocktail bar on the strip like us. You know, we have all these other types of amazing bars, but there isn't that kind of a bar.
It's crazy that there's not one there.
I know. And it's cool to hear it from people because like I've said that, like that's what we're going to be. Yeah. And people are like, oh my God, I'm so happy for that.
Was it your idea to have that concept of the bar next door?
No, I got the name that it was going to be Bar Next Door.
Okay. So you knew it was going to be the name.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then I got a picture of like what it would kind of look like, you know, the rendering, which is very close to what it is.
Diner vibes, guys.
Diner vibes a little bit. You guys gotta
check it out.
It's like vintage, you know, has a little sexy bathroom moment. I always say Art Deco meets old Hollywood meets a little rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Have you practiced saying that so many times?
Yeah, I have it so down. I'm like a PR's dream.
I was like, wow.
I literally am though a PR's dream. That's what's so funny about something with my roles is doing stuff. Like I know that. Like I'm like, I know how to describe things. Sure. I know how to like. I come from a place when I create my cocktails where it's like there's always a story behind it. So there's like deep inspiration, even though it might be silly to some. It's like not to me. And like it makes me feel like I can really express myself through cocktails.
I feel like that's the menu too, because like the drinks based on the streets and like the areas, like that was your idea, correct?
Yeah. So I saw the Bar Next Door and I said, oh my gosh, like Lawrence, we carved Bar Next Door. So we need to celebrate what has been next door to us over the decades, because there's so many things, you know, iconic, you know, things that aren't historical landmarks, but still iconic things that are getting torn down. and like all these new high rises, which are beautiful too. Like, I'm not saying that they're not great, but we do need to remember our past and our history.
And there's a lot of cool history, especially on that strip.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like everything. Like,
yeah, I mean, the fact that you put a drink on the menu that says Villanova instead of Rainbow Room, and a lot of people don't know what Villanova is.
Yeah.
And so they're going to ask like, oh, this isn't a part of like the Sunset Strip.
Yeah, and I wanted it to be an experience because I knew that we were going to get tourists too because we're on the Sunset Strip. So I thought it would be a fun way to like get people excited.
Who said the world stops when something opens on the Sunset Strip?
Una, my friend Una.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just such a great cheerleader. Like, she's just like Brynn.
That's like a hype woman right there.
Yeah, it's total hype woman. Yeah. But it was like, you know what? This Sunset Strip, there's not many streets in America that you like know by name. You know what I mean? Think about it. There's like maybe what, 10?
I mean, definitely your hometown ones, but for sure.
Yeah, but like the world knows.
The world knows.
You know what I mean? Like Broadway, 4th Avenue, like 5th Avenue.
Yeah, I think I only could like maybe
Wall Street,
maybe like 10.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like Sunset Boulevard is one of them. You know?
That's crazy. I don't really
Hollywood
think about that. Glam. I don't think about that because I guess I'm in it. It's my daily life.
Yeah. No, exactly. This is our normal life. Yeah. But to other people, it's a little like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason why I moved to
LA. Yeah, there was these tourists that came into our bar the other day, and they're from London, and there's this dad just bringing his kids around all over the United States, and he was like, "Yeah, this is so cool." Well, I was like, "This is a destination."
Absolutely, it could be anything, neighborhood, destination, but also just like
the fact that you found or you have the perfect medium of destination as well as comfortability for the neighborhood is really, I don't think there's a lot of anywhere else. No. Because like I work.
It's done kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If anything,
cheesy
it's like,
in the best way though.
Yeah, exactly. Like you go to like BJ's Brewery and like, or I don't know, or like Bubblegum Shrimp Company, you know, like things like that where it's like nostalgia.
I used to love Bubblegum.
Me too, actually.
You know,
shout out.
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, that was so fun to do the trivia and stuff. But I just think there's so many ways to incorporate fun events with this kind of concept. Yeah. Like,
what was your feeling when I guess you have these drinks and the bar open for the first time and people were trying your drinks and you're like, whoa, like I came up with these in my apartment, dude.
Yeah, I know, right?
And now like they're in real life and all people from all over the world and people from all over, I guess, the West Hollywood neighborhood is coming into this bar and experiencing your creations.
Yeah, I mean, I have ran other programs before where I, got notoriety and then also was able to do this, but this one was like just all me. There was no chef involved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was no like that kind of thing where I was just the second person, like the bar director. So for me, like I was like...
Everyone was answering yes, chef to Miss Brynn Smith.
Yes, that's right. Yes, chef. Yes, chef. But it's just funny because like I made these all in my apartment. You know what I mean? I had like a mad laboratory because it took forever to get that bar built.
Where do you get ideas for cocktails from? Because like, for example, like the La Cienega, there's like a corn liquor, matcha, chocolate, coffee. Oh, I'm like... How did you come up with that?
Okay, so I knew Nixta was a product that I thought was really...
Nixta's the corn liquor we're talking about, I guess.
And I tasted it once and I was like, oh my gosh, this needs to be in a dessert cocktail. Okay. Like I just knew it could be in so many things, but like a dessert cocktail was like something I wanted to try with. But I was thinking of, first I kind of did what I thought was the names of the cocktails. Like, let me like break it up with like street names, a little bit music venues, hotels, and then that way in the future I can always expand on that and change up stuff.
Did you have like a big whiteboard or what?
I had a sheet of paper, like little dribble, scribbles or whatever. And then I was like, La Cienega. I looked it up because I was like, what's the meaning of La Cienega?
What is it?
The swamp. It translates to the swamp.
Okay.
And Nate, it's on the menu.
Okay.
FYI. No, it's okay. But at one time, that area was like swampland. So think of it like, for me, I was like, okay, what else is on La Cienega? My last project that I worked at.
Like the street?
I was Albright, which was like La Cienega Melrose Place. And there's an Alfred Coffee. So like Alfred Coffee was always so freaking busy. So I'm like, and I've discovered the dirty matcha around that area. So like, it's just, honestly like my Pisces brain, Virgo rising, Cancer moon is nuts. And like I
What's your birthday?
March 2nd.
Okay, to 10th.
Yeah.
I don't understand the other part.
And I just thought in my head, like, okay, a dirty matcha cocktail. People love espresso martini, swamp-like. I want it to be green.
Okay.
And I wanted it to have like a garnish that would be like, you'd see shrubbery and then like maybe a beautiful flower. swamp.
Okay.
You know, like ferns, like things.
So
like
you made a pretty swamp.
Yeah, I made a pretty delicious swamp. Is that so funny?
That's so funny that you got coffee from Alfred's.
Yeah. Well, Alfred Coffee.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The fact that you just like related it's because it's on the street.
Yeah. And I was like, La Cienega, and I was like, oh my God, Alfred is like one of the biggest things.
So
there.
was that like for each cocktail you try to like get everything together for that?
In a sense, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like the Olive Drive. Mm-hmm. I was having tomka soup. Mm-hmm. And I was drinking
tomka soup,
the one with the lime leaves and it's Thai. And with a little bit of Thai chili. And I just love the combo. Is it supposed
to be spicy at all? Because it says Thai chili, and a lot of people are like, why isn't this spicy?
Yes, exactly. This is the thing. I was wondering if I should even write that, but it's a subtle note at the back finish of that drink, because I did have it spicier.
Okay.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
It was like, we're not as, you know
it's
what I mean?
Of the best I hate martinis, bro.
Yeah.
I hate martinis, and I really like it.
Yeah. So the Thai chili, thank you, is just like a little spice note at the end. Mm-hmm. It literally, I infuse it, and I put one little pot of the Thai chili.
Okay.
Just infused, just because I needed like layer. When you're having an aromatic cocktail, there's not something that you want one thing to like super stand out.
Can you explain to the people who don't know too much about cocktails, like what's an aromatic cocktail?
Yeah, so an aromatic cocktail is going to be booze forward. It's going to have a very like all the cocktails can have an aromatic garnish, but this one is like that amazing thing where you take all different types of spirits and you put it together, and with a little dilution in water, it like sings. Yeah. You know?
Like a Negroni.
Yeah, like a Negroni, Martini, Manhattan, all that stuff. And those are the trickiest cocktails to come up with, because you're not adding sugar or, other than the
liqueurs.
Or, citrus that's like no brainer, lemonade with something else delish, So with that, I just wanted to have like subtle little nods and notes that weren't too overpowering. Like it could never be as spicy as, let's say, a spicy margarita. Yeah. Like no one would think that was a refreshing martini.
I like to think about it with the same thing with bitters. Like you don't want to know that they stand out. Yeah. It's like there's the subtle
It's the
taste
subtle hint. It's not the main feature.
It's like, why does this drink taste so good? And I feel like you want people to keep questioning it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Yeah. Can we talk about martinis real quick?
Yeah.
So martinis are all over the board right now, and I just people will send back martinis because they don't describe it the way that they want it. So like for people out there who order martinis, how should they order a martini?
Well, what they should do is the bartender should be...
I know, I'm saying without asking 1,000 questions. Because you're like, vodka, gin, do you want this and that? Do you want it dry? Do you want
the most annoying thing about the martini is that everybody wants it different.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? So like you have to ask those questions. Like, do you like it dry? Most people who order vodka want like a whisper of vermouth or just chilled vodka straight up.
Whisper means like the tiniest drop.
So what I do with my smiling face, sometimes I just tell a guest, like, they go, oh.
Brynn is the nicest sass, by the way, guys. She was like, how do you not know this? But like is the nicest about it. She just has a pure smile.
Well, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, I want to educate you because like in the future, like you're going to make so many other bartenders like think that you're not educated. So I just go, oh, you want vodka chilled up? Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah, that part, guys. See, that's what I mean.
So vodka chilled up. Awesome. And it's great. It's not mean, but it's just like also like, maybe you'll remember. I'm helping the universe. Okay?
Do you think it's not mean?
No. No. Direct.
Direct? I don't know. I feel bad sometimes when someone's like, can I get Grey Goose martini with no vermouth? And then
you just say, okay, yeah, so vodka chilled up. Got it. No vermouth.
And then you just do it?
Yeah. With a smile.
That's hilarious. What do you call it? So the whole James Bond era of like shaken, not stirred.
I have a theory for this. I have researched some of that, and I'm pretty sure the manuscript, like the book, was different than the manuscript.
What do you mean the book was different?
In the book, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm gonna get someone like maybe like calling me out, but I'm pretty sure the book that Ian Fleming wrote, like he didn't talk about shaken, and then in the manuscript it was flipped. Again, I haven't read the book James Bond. But.
Well, it's so funny because there's a lot of people who say they're martini people, and then they're like, I like ice chips on top of my martini.
Yeah, which, I
mean, two should be their own.
Yeah.
I get it.
You bruise the spirit that way. Yeah. It's not that silky, sexy finish when you stir it. But also, I have another theory with the James Bond. Yeah. Exactly, it's the cloudy and stuff. Cloudiness. I think that he was in such a hurry.
Who, James Bond?
Yeah, like he is like about to save someone's life and like, blow up something with like his cool car. I don't know. But like he needs to like hurry and get that martini. So they need to shake it. If we stirred it, it would take 45 to 60 seconds,
It does take a long time.
So 10 seconds. He needed to get that out, drink it, and get on his way.
I feel like that's what I appreciate about like good bars. Like I will wait like a couple minutes or a few minutes or a
craft
long
cocktails,
time.
anywhere 2 to 4 minutes making a craft cocktail. Would I prefer 2? Yes, but you know what I mean. That's why I did the program that I did. You know.
So why, I guess if you want to explain to everyone for martinis, why should it be stirred, not shaken?
Because the agitation that you do when you just have no citrus in a cocktail, it just creates this cloudiness and it kind of bruises the spirit. Yeah. So there's just, if you were to stir a martini crispy cold, shake a martini crispy cold, there's a difference. Crispy cold. And there's a difference, you know what I mean? And like you see the color, the look of it, it's just really not as sexy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you get this silky finish on a martini when it's stirred.
I hate when people say like, can I get extra cold? And they mean like shaken. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it's still going to be cold. Like how can you get extra cold?
You can't blame them too. You know why? There's so many bad bartenders out there. Like,
what makes a bartender good, Brynn?
I think willing to give good hospitality.
Okay. I feel like that's the first thing, right? How you make someone feel.
Yeah, you make someone feel. You make them feel good, like they're having a fun time, they're having an experience. And then I feel like really listening to your guest. You know, if they want their shaken martini, you make them the best goddamn shaken martini ever, you know?
If there is one.
Yeah, if there is one. You know what I mean? Like, you just do it, you know? There was a program when I worked at Soto where, like, we couldn't, like, the bar director before me who taught me everything in cocktails.
Shouts out to that person.
Yeah, Julian. So we had to be very strict on things. And like at first I was like super proud to be like strict on things.
What do you mean proud to be strict on
like
things?
To be like
this is the only way.
We only have one vodka at this bar.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it was like a I'm a cool bartender, you know?
I'm a cool kid now.
You know? And that's how I felt. And so, but then I learned quickly that it's like, let's just give the people what they want. Because you know what? They're going to give you more money that way.
Yeah, that part.
You know?
How did you get into bartending?
So I was a server for many years. And I had been asked to move up to be a bartender at this restaurant that was in the Valley, which loved. It was amazing, but it was still that time.
Which valley? There's a lot of valleys.
Calabasas area. Okay. And it was funny because I was like, because we were making like key lime martinis and stuff like that. And that
lime?
That was like, there was a time when like every martini was like something, you know what I mean? Where it's like vodka whip martini, like blueberry blast martini.
Can you explain martini for me? Because like there's a wide spectrum of martini, right? Like what makes it, why can you call it a martini?
Spirit, all spirit.
What do you mean all spirit?
Like no citrus.
Okay, so when someone says a passion fruit martini with a lime juice and shit in there,
it's because they want it in the glass.
Okay.
It's really defined as the glass.
Okay, so it's defined as the glass.
Yeah, yeah. And just like an espresso martini, like there's no citrus in there, but there's also cold brew and like a liqueur, you know, so it's like a play on it, you know?
Okay.
But it's the like, glass.
People
it's the glass.
use it like, I don't know. I feel like it shouldn't be used that
oh, no.
much.
And that was the time when I was getting into bartending. That's what was happening. I thought it was so cheesy and I was like, nah. And then that restaurant closed.
Okay.
You know, the first recession of my lifetime.
What was that, 2008?
Around that, like 2008, 2009, when we started affected. And I was asked to basically, it was 2009, closer to 10, but it was that time the restaurant closed and I was just working things and I got this this ad on Craigslist, which you would really never go now for Craigslist for jobs. But at that time, I'm aging myself, we did. And there was this ad that said, teaching people with no experience how to bartend the old pre-prohibition style way. And I was like, you know what? Like, I was trying to get a job, so I replied to everything.
Sure.
I went down to this restaurant called Rivera, which was by the Staples Center, but farther back.
Downtown?
And it was a beautiful restaurant.
From Calabasas. You just trekked it out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, at that time I had lived in West Hollywood already, but I had worked in Calabasas.
Got it.
So like I would drive to a steakhouse. Yeah, because it was like I was one of the best servers, so like I would get the best shifts and Allison.
Oh, you worked with Allison?
I worked with Allison.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and we would make good money. So it was like worth it, and then it closed down. And so it was worth it, you know, and it was easy hours.
Sure.
Like I was done at like 10.
Whoa.
You know,
the ending 10 o'clock hospitality shift is like, you can't really find those anymore.
Yeah, but I didn't want to, like serving, there wasn't like, and it was the time too where I was pursuing acting, modeling, all that stuff. And then I was like, you know what, like.
Is that what you moved to LA for? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and it was changing the whole internet, YouTube, all that stuff. And to me, it was just not as special going to auditions and being like, you're too ugly, you're too pretty, you're too fat, you're too thin. You know what I mean? It was like, it's too much, you know?
It's a lot. I feel like it's not.
And it was really changing at that time. And I was like, I'm not going to be excited to be getting a third call on a Samsung commercial. Like I came out here to do like film, and for me, I was like, I need to pivot, and the bartending fell in my lap, and I learned like the showmanship of bartending and the history of it. And I felt like the showmanship gave me this little bit of my ham moment that, you
so
get
you're on
with
stage.
Yeah, in a sense, you are behind the bar. And for me, it really gravitated, and just getting to know the history and like the old school way of stirring. Like I just thought that was so sexy, and fun, you know? So for me, that's how I fell into it. And I was in a bar class that was 8 weeks long.
It was 8 weeks.
We actually got paid to be in it because this restaurant group, was opening like 4 different restaurants.
What did they go through in this 8-week course?
Everything. Technique, classic cocktails. We had finals, we had midterms. Like it was so intense.
That's so cool.
Like it was amazing.
Yeah.
And we learned.
Did you work with real spirits? Okay.
It was a restaurant.
I was just
group.
asking because
we learned everything.
Yeah. Oh, so
and our
this
finals were
Craigslist
like
thing.
4 hours long.
What did they test you on?
Everything, like distillation, what a spirit is. We had like 100 classic cocktails that we had to know. And the way you're supposed to make it, like technique and all that stuff. And then we had speed trials.
Sure.
So we would have to go against our peers. And like, to be best, you would like, get the job,
I mean, I feel like that's something that's lacking right now, the competency, right?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of jobs is like you stay long enough and you'll like get the seniority part.
Yeah.
But also I feel like if you're better at the job, you should be there more.
Yeah, no, totally. It's funny. It's like, again, I'm not saying that people that we work with are wonderful and amazing, but it is hard out there. It's like a whole different mindset when it comes to working and how you have to kindergarten teach a little bit,
What would you describe
when like you'd be treated by someone else? Like,
what do you mean? When
people
you'd be treated?
Like in a sense where like you'd be called out and you'd be humiliated. Like I could never do that to somebody fully. You know what I mean? Like I could maybe get a little sass and be like, okay, this is the 5th time I've talked to you about this. Can you like maybe listen? You know what I mean? Kind of a situation.
Don't get on Brynn's bad side, guys. That's what she's saying.
It's like I am such a sweetheart, but it's like there's a point where I'm like, you're making my life hard. So like, can we like
There's a tipping point. There's a tipping point. Yeah, for sure.
And it was like like fool's business. Like I'd get like, like jiggers. Like, nope, that was wrong. Because like these bartenders, like giants coming in and being like, no, meniscus, hold things. It was like so intense. So it was a little like, I could never do that now to somebody.
That's crazy. I don't know any, I guess like bartending training like that.
No, and that's the thing. It was one of its kind. And shout out to Julian for doing that, because he had like I think like 12 generations of bartenders, like different classes. First, it was the one class that I was in, the official first class. There was a mini class before that. And then I was in the first one.
And they paid you to do it?
Yes, but I was the only class that got paid to do it.
Did they put you in restaurants after?
So I landed to Playa, which is now where Petty Cash is. Okay. And then I went to Soto, and that's where I fell in love with Italian restaurants and like the food and culture, liqueurs, Moletti, Campari, like all that stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's so interesting because like I went to, I guess, like the quote unquote bartending school like in the beginning, and you're mixing food coloring.
Oh,
not actually cocktails.
No, if I see that on a resume, I'm like,
so after I stopped, the only benefit to it was like that you memorize probably like 500 cocktails in like 2 weeks.
But some of them are wrong.
And a lot of them are wrong. Yeah, not some of them. A lot of them are wrong. And I didn't learn like technique and stuff until like obviously other bartenders, but also like all these old books.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was like, this is crazy that these prohibition styled like cocktails are so wrong in like other areas. For example, like the old fashioned for that 10-year period or 5-year period.
No, there's a dark ages of cocktails, we used to call it.
Yeah.
There was the creation of the cocktail from like the late to mid to late 1800s up into Prohibition. And then you got to think about too, like once Prohibition happened, a lot of these really talented people couldn't freely be their job. Yeah. You know what I mean? You'd have to do speakeasies or you'd move to different countries. So we lost a lot of great people mixing. So who was training those other people, you know? And then what happened was also you got to think about food production. You know what I mean? In the US, like there was mass production starting in the like 40s and 50s where you can your cherry, you know, like in the artificial flavorings and things like that. So
ice was a big thing.
Ice, you know, it changed, you know, like even just eating. Like think of all the like ads in the 50s and 40s about canned food and micro, you know, like all that new technology that actually is not good for us. Yeah. But that happened in cocktails. So it was easy to make it faster, to make a profit, you know, and then you think about how food changed now back in like the early 2000s where it's like farm to table and a lot more like fresh ingredients in your stuff, not more as much, you know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy how it literally changes back to the same thing. But like it's getting better and better as time goes on.
Yeah, and now so like we're in the cocktail renaissance, and I started bartending like I think right at the tipping point of like that beginning. You know,
I think the bar next door is a perfect example of that.
Yeah,
because the reason why I appreciate the menu and wanted to talk to you and everything like that is because I've worked at probably like 8 bars. And it's the best bar program that I've seen. I'm serious. I'm serious.
No, I know, I'm great.
And your attention to detail with like just from the picks, like to the garnishes, to like making
standards,
to everything.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because cocktails on the strip are all expensive.
Yeah.
Regardless of it
100%.
But the cocktails that I like, a regular margarita that I make at Lava or a Negroni at Jones, like those are going to be expensive, but
they aren't going to taste and look as good.
You're not. Yes. And
it's crazy.
And you're charging the same price. And so I think within the next like 6 months, when more and more people like find out about it.
Oh no, we're going to be nuts.
It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts.
You know?
So that's why we got to build everybody up and get it going.
I'm excited.
Woo!
I'm excited because like
it's exciting.
I don't think a lot of people know about it yet.
No, it's just the beginning.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And like, I'm going for gold.
You're going for gold? What does that mean? What do you mean
like,
going for
I want to
gold?
be nominated for awards.
Okay.
And I want
is
us
there
to get recognized.
Is there bartending awards?
Well, not necessarily me, the program. You know what I mean? Like the program.
Okay.
And how special it is, you know, like again, Thunderbolt has been awarded, which is an amazing bar, you know, and like, I feel like we can stand on the ground of those people too, you know? So like a couple different bars from LA, like LA, like gets love, but it doesn't get as much love as some of the other cities. Yeah. So like I want to put LA again more on the
one
map.
thing that I think that I mean,
which
including
we have the best produce ever in LA.
That is true.
Yeah.
One thing that I do think that everyone needs to, the bartenders that I appreciate more, like I need to improve on myself, is like someone asks you about a Manhattan, right? Or a Negroni. Yeah. And they're like, oh, like where did this come from or how it is? Like, I feel like the stories, a lot of people don't know.
No, they don't.
You know, like I only know the Negroni because like I posted it on Instagram one time and then I was like, there was this Count guy who ordered an Americano and then he subbed out the soda water for
gin
there's gin. Or the Spaghiato, which is like in the 60s,
mistake,
right? You know, mistake. You know, like those are cool things.
A lot of cocktail history is from people being drunk, people being like alluring. It's like mysterious. It's like not set in stone officially. Like nowadays, like
it's
now,
all story told.
Yeah, it's always someone passing on stories.
Like every time someone orders an espresso martini, I was like, "Do you want to wake me up or fuck me up?"
Yeah,
you know, type of deal. And they were like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, let me tell you."
Yeah, we don't know what supermodel it is.
Yeah, we don't know what supermodel it is.
Kate Moss or Naomi Campbell apparently.
Who would you say it is? Like
Naomi Campbell.
Okay, that's a story.
She's savage. Like I love that. Like you know what I mean? Like I could just see her saying that. You know, at least in my mind. I hope it's Naomi Campbell, but I think more people think, what? Dick Bradsell. You gotta let us know.
The unfortunate and fortunate name. I feel like it's just easy to remember, but also like
yeah, I know, right? But he did give us some good stuff.
What do you call it? So after you graduate from this bartending school and you go through this program, like are you just totally inspired by cocktails? Like this is the way that you want to like go towards your life?
Yeah,
like,
it was weird because it kind of is like one of those moments where you realize like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like things click. When I was little.
What do you mean things click?
Okay, so when I was little, I grew up like kind of in a fairy tale land, like a creek and like meadow and like hills and like my parents in Washington State on a farm. So I had lots of flower. Yeah. Lots of flowers and things. And I used to make perfume, not very well, but I would take my mom's flowers. Make
perfume?
I'd put it in water, rose water, or I'd put it in like oil.
Okay.
Like I'd take my mom's like oil and like I'd put flowers in it and I'd infuse.
At a super young age?
Yeah, like 7 or 8.
Really?
And my mom would buy me little apothecary perfume because I was so girly, like Barbie. Like she had perfume. Let me get the real life one, you know. And so I would create. Probably wasn't great, but I thought I was great at it, you know.
I mean, it probably smelled okay.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Flowers.
It's flowers. And so that I think is where that kind of I like working with my hands. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's something that's like busy and like you make something pretty result. So I think that
Is that where the name came from too? The Instagram handle?
Bartending Pretty.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, a random person and he was a wonderful gay man at Soto was like one of my cocktails. And he was like, "Ooh, girl, you bartend pretty." And I was like, "Oh, I like that." It stuck, but I didn't write them think. And then I was like, "Oh, what should I name my Instagram?" Because I knew I wanted to share my cocktail recipes. This was, I was getting really inspired, and like, you know, everyone was asking me recipes.
Yeah.
So
Did you start this page like during that time as well?
Yeah, during Soto. Like, I started to run the program there because they quickly were like, "Oh yeah, you're decent, you're trustworthy, you're this, like, you go for it." And then I started making cocktails, and it was just so easy for me to do. And I was like, "Oh, I like this," you know? And then people are like, "You made this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did," you know? And
I did.
And
That's
like,
me.
That's me. So I wanted to like share my recipes, and I didn't care. And I thought that would be a good way to, you know, having, you know, what could come from this? Why not start now? You know, it's not something I think like would be, but now I look back and I'm like, wow, not that I have like an amazing amount of followers, but I've done a lot of work on Instagram, to be honest. Like, Lauren's found me off Instagram.
I feel like social media has changed the world in that aspect.
No, 100%. And I've made money off of Instagram and stuff. So it's been like working with brands and stuff. So it's cool, you know?
What was that first feeling like when, I guess it just started for fun probably,
Yeah,
right?
I did. Just started for fun.
You're just like, I'm creating these things.
Yeah.
They're pretty. I want to put them on the internet.
Yeah.
And probably all of a sudden...
And telling the story behind it.
And all of a sudden, like, I don't know, a brand hits you up and you get paid for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, what was that feeling like?
That was really cool.
What was it? Could you say it?
The first brand gig. I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No, that's crazy. That's bad. Oh my God. It probably was like some sort of like liqueur, like...
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, don't apologize.
I just
Sorry to that brand. It wasn't that good, probably.
I'd have to really look back. But again, there's so many other amazing cocktail creators out there that like, you know, have a lot more following, so the bigger brands. So it would be smaller brands that would help me, but I was like, I taste it, and if I like it, I'm going to make a cocktail with it.
Yeah. There's a really big bartending community that I did not know about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All these, I don't know if they're like clubs, but the what's that one that you keep talking about?
USBG. There's Pre-Shift Society.
Pre-Shift is the one I have not heard about.
Yeah, they just started. No, it's good.
So what are the point of these?
Well, just to bring our community together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we give so much love when it comes for hospitality, and like, this job is hard. Like, I don't think people really understand how hard.
Explain why bartending's hard.
Well, because you're giving so much energy to someone. It's a service. I think like everyone in their life should probably do a month of service work in their life.
Any type of hospitality.
You know what I mean? Like, even if you're, you know, it's not like we're a nurse, but like in a sense, like we're like listening to people's bad days. We are trying to make them happy. A lot of times people are assholes to us, and we have to be nice to them.
Why do you think that is?
I just think that they know they can take it out on someone, and you're their servant. Honestly, I think about
I
it.
really think about it that way.
Yeah, I think that they're just like, you're beneath me. And it's like, well, I probably actually make more money than you, but okay.
Yeah, that part.
You know what I mean? But I think now with the cocktails changing and like the creativity and craftsmanship behind it, the dark ages of cocktails aren't so much. Yeah. Now I feel like people do respect. It's like a chef in a sense. You know what I mean? There is like 99.9% good people, and then there's always that like one little bad apple, you know?
Do you think the negative connotation from, I guess, like, oh, you're just a bartender type of deal is
it's crazy.
Is that from, you think, the dark age cocktail, or where do you think it's from?
I think it's because a lot of people use this job as a stepping stone into what else they're doing, and it helps them make money. It's flexible. You can like work different hours. And I think that people just always assume that you're going to do something else with your life. Like, I have been asked that so many times. Like, oh, so what else do you want to be for after? I was like, well, this is what I do for a living. Yeah. You know,
I like it.
Yeah. And now that they like have the term mixologist, I feel like people are like, oh, that's a little bit more like understandable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it happens a lot.
But bartending is such a good job for
I think it teaches communication skills.
Oh my God.
Biggest thing. It
pivoting,
teaches
like
memorization.
Right?
Like the other day I had like I think 8 cocktails in my head, and then like I got them all right, and I'm like, okay, that was definitely a test of memory for sure. Let's go.
I love that.
You know? Yeah. And then like hand-eye coordination is a big thing. Like you're standing on your feet. So it's kind of like the downside of it's like usually bartenders like do drink a lot. Yeah. And that's the negative aspect of it.
And then that's the thing with clubs like this, to build a community so you're not alone. You can like talk about how you do your job. Maybe we can help you with like Pre-Shift Society does a great job of like mental health awareness, you know, like people who drink too much, it is a depressant.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's something that isn't for me. Like, I'm not a huge drinker, which is crazy, you know, but I love cocktails and I love a good made cocktail, but it's not something like I need every night after my shift to have a couple drinks. No, absolutely not. I work with it. Like, get me home and give me some refreshing water. You know?
Have you ever been like a shots girl? Just like, just going home.
I mean, in my 20s, I lived off the Sunset Strip. So yeah.
What was Brynn like when she first moved to LA?
Okay, when I first moved to LA, I knew I had to get a Cosmopolitan.
Okay. From?
Well, one of the first places I got the Cosmopolitan was this place in the Valley. It's no longer there, but then I went to Hollywood, went to Chateau Marmont.
Okay.
And I ordered a Cosmo.
Okay, so it's full circle.
So it's like on the menu. We have a Chateau Marmont that I wanted to create a more elevated now version of the Cosmo.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that where it's like I felt like a Cosmo.
Why did you want to get a Cosmo?
Sex in the City, Nate.
I don't know. Sex in the City.
Oh my gosh, so good. Every man should actually watch.
Can you explain
Carrie
Sex
Bradshaw.
Okay.
The Cosmo was created in like I want to say like the late 80s, early 90s. Another 3 people think that they created the Cosmo.
Yeah, I have what's his name's book. The guy from the Rainbow Room, but not the Rainbow Room.
Dale DeGroff?
Yeah.
He's one of them.
He's one of them.
Yeah, there's like him, Dick Bradshaw, I think, and then this other girl too. I forgot her name. But they all say they did, which again, it's like a kamikaze in a sense, but like
with cranberry juice.
Yeah. Again, amazing. Thank you.
Sure.
But like, I wish I was bartender then. Like, how easy it would have been to like be a master.
For sure.
Not that I'm not talking crap about those people. I think those people are amazing.
But I also feel like they planted the seeds for you to know way more.
Yes. Yeah. But it's crazy how some people like were able to do 3 ingredients and it became like a national cocktail. I'm like, what the hell? Like, God. Missed the train a little bit.
I know. I feel like there's a beauty with 3 ingredient cocktails though.
Oh, that is the best thing. If you can achieve a cocktail with 3 ingredients, maybe 4, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The 3 ingredient cocktail is the best.
I feel like
that's why it's our standard for everything.
My favorite cocktails are gonna be like the old fashioned Negroni, daiquiri,
Gimlet. Daiquiri, yeah.
I really do like East Sides. I don't want to though.
Oh, why? Because it's the bubbling of the cucumber in it.
Well, I feel like it's just like a lot.
You feel like a lady at brunch, a lady who lunches.
I don't know. I'll lady brunch it all the time, Brynn, for sure. No, I just like from the simplicity point of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely
it's a little bit of work.
A little bit of work.
You got this.
Yeah. How can you get is there a way to get all the mint out of it? Because you double strain it, you still see sediment in there.
To be honest, that's all right. When it comes to that, but the double strain mostly gets most of it out. If there might be a little bit, then that's okay.
That's real. What does creativity do for you, just from a bigger standpoint outside of cocktails?
Oh my gosh, it lets me like feel fulfilled.
Can you explain more? Like in what way?
Because like you're running in the situation and you're doing the job, the daily tasks that are like sometimes I gotta get this, I gotta do this, But the creativity part like lets me really like my heart be part of it, and so it feels rewarding.
Rewarding how?
Yeah, rewarding just that I feel like I get to share something with the world that's mine.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of you.
Yeah, it's a little bit of me and it's fun and I just get to like share it with other people and if it makes them happy, like, oh my gosh.
I think that's one of the biggest human fulfillments.
Yeah.
Helping other people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're in hospitality. Like I have a hospitality heart, you know what I mean? Like you have to be a different type of breed of person. There's so many people out there who like
just take
takers, and we have to give.
Yeah. It's hard to do that all the time.
So those little moments when I tell people like, oh, I'm just like, okay, just have to knock you down just a little bit.
We've had a couple of those in the last few weeks.
Oh, Saturday. It was the first time I was like, woof. Like there was like 5 different people that came in that were just assholes, and I'm just like, can you be happy? You're like at a cool bar on Saturday night on the Sunset Strip. You're dressed up. Like,
and nice people are taking care of you.
And we're taking care of you. Yeah. But just like, give me more. This is that. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Kind of shit.
Would you ever send a cocktail back?
Okay, yes. If I can assess what the bar is going to be like. If I know that this bar, I look at the menu. I'm like, I'm going to get something foolproof. Easy. Shot of beer.
Okay.
Highball.
Okay.
Wine.
You're reading the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they have, looks like a nice setup, all this, okay, I'll tell them, hey, I like my martinis, and I'll be specific. I'll do a classic. I like a Negroni.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like craft cocktails, like I'd have to know the person or know that they use some fresh ingredients, and I'll give it a shot to try one of their classics or their specialty drinks for sure. But one time I was in Puerto Rico, and this is like when I was starting to like be a bar manager and all this stuff, and I was served just a shot, and it was water.
Oh, it was legit water?
It was literally water.
Okay.
And I think they used one of the, like they had poured a bottle, like to just have a display.
Okay.
And they poured me just water. And I was just like, hey, like I need to send this back. It's not, this guy was so rude to me. And then my brother was like, oh, here's Brynn with her new cocktail knowledge. Like my sister making a big deal. And I was like, no,
it's water.
It's fucking water, brother. And then like my dad tasted it and he was like, oh, it's water. So I had to get the manager. He refused.
Yeah.
He refused to even give me a new one. He's like, it's gonna taste the same, you idiot.
It's water, dude.
And I was like, I'm serious. Like I was humbly like, it's water. And so I was like, okay, can I speak to your manager? Can you like get your manager out here? That'd be wonderful. And I like stayed for like 20 minutes until the manager came out, and I was like, hi. So I'm a bartender. I run a bar program. I just have to say, like, I have tried to like let this bartender know that this is water. Would you please do me the honor of just tasting this and letting me know? And he's like, that's water. He's like, I'm so sorry. And I was just like, the guy didn't have to be a dick. Like, if someone's telling you that, like I wasn't drunk or anything. Like it was our first cocktail of like after getting off the beach, and I was like,
sure,
I want a shot, you know?
I guess that's an extreme example. I feel like that doesn't happen very often.
It was wild. And then like, yeah, if like I were to be at Musso and Frank, which I love so much, am I going to send a drink back? No. But I'm going to be like, that martini that you stirred for 2 seconds. Yeah. I don't say that, but I'm like, can I just get a side of ice? And I'll try to fix it.
Sure. Okay.
So I know the situation what I'm going into, and then I order appropriately, or I just like fix it. Okay. But I would never like send it back unless it was like an extreme situation, because again, I'm not that person, you know.
I guess switching the coin. Why do you think bartenders are assholes sometimes?
Because I don't think it's their true passion and they don't like doing it.
Oh, so you think it's a stepping stone for them to do whatever they want to do?
Yeah. And I think that sometimes, you know, people, again, I always tell actors, models and all these things.
Who bartend for you?
Who bartend. A lot of people do that, which is amazing. But guess what? Bartending can actually be really good for you when it comes to auditioning. You have to make a connection with someone within 5 to 10 seconds. Yeah. And that's the same as in the casting office. You know what I mean? So it's like all about creating connection with people and exciting people. Sure. You know what I mean? Like I knew that if I, like bartending, like would have made me a better auditioner. Sure. You know? Yeah. So I think there's skills and ways that you can be proud of what you do and who you'd meet. You never know who you're going to sit in front of.
You have no
clue.
Like,
especially where we live. Like, it's like crazy to me. I'm like, be nice.
Yeah. You have no clue who's in front of you.
A producer might be in front of you or a director. Like, you never know.
The other guy, the older guy with the pinstripe suit.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, this guy is someone.
Yeah, and he totally was. And it's just like, it's so crazy. And it's like, yeah, now he's going to love us and come back. And not that we're expecting anything. Of course not. But like,
shouts out Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
What do you call it? Yeah, we're not gonna say your last name. What do you call it? So since you've been running like bar programs and your experience with it, would you say you're an expert? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
I'm always learning.
100%.
Of course.
Always learning. You can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
What are traits of a spectacular bar? Like, what are your top traits for a spectacular bar?
I would say the quality of the product.
Okay, so the cocktails itself, or
like
the
you look at the back
ambiance?
bar. Okay. Ambiance for sure. Okay. I think that is a huge
back
factor.
Bar. Okay, what do you mean back bar?
Like if
Can
you
explain
come in,
the back bar?
Yeah, the back bar is all the bottles on the back, where it's not in our well, or not cocktails, stuff like all the different vodkas, gins, bourbons, liqueurs, all that stuff. And you look at it and you're like, oh. You know, as me looking at someone's back bar, I can say like, okay, you were bought by Bacardi. You were bought by Brown-Forman. You were bought by Beam Suntory.
Is that just because like all those liquors are part of their...
And they just do a small selection, and they just do like... You can just tell that it's their entire portfolio because they probably got money, which again, I love the brand support and stuff like that. But for me, it was really important because there's awards for that, best bar selection, back bar selection. There's stuff that, like, that's an important thing. And so to have people come in with our bar in the first 2 months and say, oh my God, your back bar selection is amazing. And I'm just like, thank you so much. You know, because it's like I wanted to geek out with the cocktail nerds.
Sure.
I wanted to be just the normal LA folk, but then also the tourists. I wanted them to feel comfortable coming in and being like, oh, I see Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
I can order that.
So people geek out about Uncle Nearest? Uncle Nearest?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Which is great.
Because they're from, I forgot where. It's from their hometown or something like that.
The Uncle Nearest?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they probably were in Tennessee. Lynchburg, yeah.
Okay.
And that was, he was actually the slave that helped Jack Daniels with produce his whiskey.
No way.
Yeah.
Do you know all the stories behind all the liquors behind our bar?
Most.
That's crazy.
Not not all of them, don't get me wrong.
What sparked
I like to know a little tidbit about each.
What sparked your interest for all of them? Learning all these things, because it's a lot of headspace.
Totally.
Just like stories about every single thing.
Yeah, I think it's just like the history, and like for me, Italian spirits, there's such a story behind each one, and it's so fun and so, sexy and alluring at the same time. And for me, it's like I could really just get on telling that story, because then the guest gets wowed and then they're like, oh my God, and then they want to come back. So I think I just learned that they put money in my pocket. Sure. In the best way possible.
Just
but I also give them,
the more you get.
Yeah, the more you know, the more you get. And I know it's like financial or whatever, but like it's also like an experience. You know, we're here to do a job. This is my career, and I passionately love making cocktails. Like, of course, I want to give someone the best experience.
Sure. Besides the back bar, what else?
Back bar. I would say glassware.
Glassware.
You know what I mean? Like
what makes a good glassware?
I just think the right glassware for the cocktails, not having something that's too cheap looking or too like not in the now. I think there's some places where you see their wine glass and you're like, ooh, what are we, 1996 catering buffet? You know what I mean?
Dang, Brynn's brutally honest with his glassware, guys.
And then like the quality of the freshness of the products, like if you see like a garnish tray that's on top of the bar that like opened up and there's been those oranges that have been in there for 4 days, you're like, ooh, I don't know about that. Yeah. Just like having a nice bar presentation, I
think that was what my garnishes looked like at CPK when I first started bartending.
Yeah.
It was definitely that. It was like blueberries from like 10 days ago.
Yeah,
I was like, that does not.
Yeah.
So good presentation, good cocktails, good back bar.
Yep. Good back bar.
That's kind of like the
and then also
traits.
just like hoping to have the skilled staff.
Sure.
The people that want to be in your army.
I like that.
Be your little troops behind you.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's a good analogy. What's it called? Something captain?
Yes. That's a ship person.
I was trying to do Robin Williams from Dead Poet Society. What's it called?
Yeah.
I forgot what they say.
I love that movie though. I need to rewatch that.
So I read that your favorite cocktail bar was La Commune Punch Club from Paris.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right?
Again, there's a few other bars that I've been to since then, but that bar just was such a
vibe.
Like,
why was it such a good bar?
Okay, because you walk in and it's in this like street strip of Paris, and it's like this. If you were to shut the doors, it kind of looked like a greenhouse / conservatory.
Greenhouse, like
that kind of paneling that you would have on a greenhouse.
So all the like squarey.
Yeah, and like see-through-y and stuff.
Sure.
And you open it up and it was this like oasis of cocktails and all this vintage, like it was like gardeny and vintagey.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I saw like a really big like garnish section like built into the bar, where I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And it was very much, I geeked out. And then just like the punch bowl and like the cocktail presentation and like hot people working there. And all of a sudden Heartbreaker from Mariah Carey comes on and I'm like, I'm in Paris and like this is happening right now. Like I was like, this is amazing.
Is there a legit punch bowl over there?
Yeah. Okay. They would bring punch bowls. And I was on a trip too with Grey Goose for when I went to that.
Come on.
Yeah, come on.
What do you call it? I don't think punch bowls are just not in anymore. Back in the day, like punches were everything. I want to
do punch bowls for our back room. Have options for it.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
it's so fun, and you can serve yourself. Yeah, there'll be different packages for us in that.
And
back
like, room. I feel like it's a dead art. You can call it dead art, right?
And to be honest, I'm gonna shout out women. We were the first mixologists. Men get accredited for it, but let's be real. Who was in the homes making the drinks for the people? Maybe it was the servants, but they were women.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like who's in the kitchen making the food and the drinks for these grand galas and stuff?
Is that
punch bowls were like a huge thing before actually cocktails,
and
you know?
Probably woman did it. Shouts out woman.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, come on, we don't get accredited. What the hell?
Come on. I'm putting you guys on the map, guys.
Thanks.
It's all good.
My drink. That was such an echo.
Violent.
It was violent. I got sucked. The suction. Cheers.
There you go. We'll touch that one. Why do people or yourself love vintage things? And if you could explain what vintage is first, that'd be awesome.
Well, vintage is something I think that's 25 or years older these days. Yeah, that's sad.
But I feel like that's not even, I don't think that's a very good definition because like anything could be 25 years older. And
yes. Yeah, no. Like, something that is like a relic of the past.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Something that like, you know, like an old chessboard or an old like, you know, book or something like a clothing piece that's like iconic, that's like of its era. You know, something that was of its era and like, you know, something that wouldn't just be like a normal like pen from the, you know what I mean? Like that's not going to be, unless it was like a fancy antique pen.
There's a little feather
like
on there from
a piece of notebook paper. But again, somebody could want to buy, I just bought a 1950 spiral notebook. You know what I mean? Like,
typewriters.
So I think it could be anything really.
So why do you like vintage things?
Because I love remembering the past, and we live in Hollywood. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that is so cool.
I love your passion for it.
It's so fun. And it's just like, I've always loved classic film and classic movies and like movie stars and stuff like that. So for me, it was like so fun to like do this menu.
Just because like...
Because these people were walking the streets of Sunset.
It's cool to see the old photo of not just the bar next door, but like old photos of old Hollywood. Yeah. You're like, this was that. Yeah. 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 7 years ago. And I'm just like, was it really? It's so different. Like people wearing different clothes, all this, and it's not that long ago.
But wouldn't it be fun like to step back in time?
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Like Back to the Future.
I kind of want to dress up in like, I would love to dress up old school Hollywood in suits and like and
right. Well, I think for Halloween we're gonna do like a really cool. We have to like plan something fun.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. I know. I have this. I don't know if it'll work behind the bar, but I'm getting this. Shout out to my Britney Spears fandom.
Shouts out.
Lucky, her costume with the feather like boa sleeve.
Her costume?
Yeah, well, actually, her designer, her tour designer is actually in my Britney fan group. Okay. And she's making some of us replica costumes, which is so epic.
That is epic.
And I'm getting the Lucky costume. So I think, oh my God, for Halloween, it'd be so perfect.
For Halloween?
Right? In old Hollywood? Like, maybe I'll just wear the jacket part. I don't know if I can wear a dress behind the bar. That'd be a little like...
Is Britney Spears part of old Hollywood?
I mean, she's iconic.
In general?
Yeah, pop culture icon. And like we think about 100 years from now, you're going to go back and be like, oh my God, Britney Spears.
I know.
You know, you'll remember her.
Yeah, there's so many like, I think Britney fans, Beyonce fans, Mariah Carey fans, they're like diehard fans. Yeah. One of them right here.
For sure.
What advice do you have for people who want to become a bartender? Like, where do they start? Because there's a lot of people who they come to LA, they are in hospitality already, but they don't know how to get their foot in the door.
Yeah. I would say go bar back.
Okay.
You know, maybe start as a host at a place that you like. You go try out places in a place that you think is like amazing. Go and mentor with someone. You know what I mean? Like the best bar backs become the best bartenders.
100%.
But even if there isn't a spot for a bar back, become a host first. Yeah. You know, I had to take a pay. I was making server money where I was like, I had to be a bar back. So I was like, why do you
think servers make more money right now?
Right.
It makes no sense. The work is way harder.
Work is way harder.
As a bartender, guys.
100%. Yeah. And I get that you have to sell the menu, but that's all you're doing. As a bartender, we're like selling the menu, and we're also possibly creating the menu, creating cocktails, and doing that, and then helping people. So it's like we are a chef.
The bar breakdown, everything like that.
Yeah, I know, it's nuts, right? I just think because they bring in so much revenue. I used to get in fights all the time with restaurants, like, and be like, no, like, it's not fair. Like, we have to make the same amount at least of a server, a pooled house. Sure. Like, to me, that's fair.
So I've seen places that's pulled house and they'd make the same amount. I was like, cool.
But you have to fight for that.
You do have to fight for that.
Yeah. Because it was lava, not like that?
Not anymore.
Yeah,
it used to be.
That's not cool.
Yeah. The money there is insane. Like, some servers would take home $1,000 a night.
Which is crazy, but then what would a bartender make? 200?
3. Okay. 3, 4.
Yeah.
Which is like, but it's still like half.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, wow.
Just all pool. Yeah. To me, it's like I'm about teamwork too.
Yeah. It's crazy about like
and we're making the cocktails for the entire restaurant, so it's like.
I feel like people don't know how much like some people make in hospitality, because like I have friends who work in like the Malibu area.
Oh yeah, in the summer,
and
it's like they have to only work half the year.
Yeah, and they take home sometimes $1,500, $2,000 a day, which is insane. Like insane. No one, I don't think, I mean maybe New York, Boston, Chicago, but like
Vegas. Yeah.
It's more money than most corporate jobs.
No, and that's the thing when we go back to the fact where people are like rude to you, you're like, you best bet I'm good at hospitality, because I'm, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, don't make fun of me. Like, treat you like you're an
It's
servant.
so crazy that that's the social, not acceptance, but like reality of it.
Yeah, it's weird.
How do we make that change?
I think we are changing it, because I think it's way different than it was before. Like, people are actually like respect that like you're a chef behind the bar a little bit more.
Speaking of chefs, how there's a couple things on the menu that like before I worked there, I was like, how does this work? So I guess for the whiskey go-go, balsamic vinegar. Can you explain to the people why the heck is balsamic vinegar in a cocktail?
Well, balsamic is a vinegar, and that is something that is, oxidized and gets this like vinegary flavor, which you get like some sort of tartness with it.
Sure.
So just like in adding food, it adds element of acidity to things. So it's a great thing to put into cocktails. Shrubs are something that are very old.
A lot of people used to use shrubs.
Yeah. And it's something that came back and got popular again.
Yeah.
So it's just a fun way to play with acidity in a cocktail.
So when people see balsamic on
TikTok, I'm going with the kids now. There's the TikTok last year that was balsamic and soda water, and everyone was like, it tastes like Coca-Cola.
Oh yeah.
So like I'm trying to reach the culinary lovers, but then also the TikTokers.
Yeah. What's up with the Parmesan cheese on espresso martinis? Do you like that?
I don't know. I have a friend who like we've talked about it, and I'm like, I don't know, but he tried it, and he was like, it's actually, there's nothing that really adds to it because the espresso is so overpowering. But I think that there's that cheesiness. Like, I get that it could be good. Like, I've used burrata water in a cocktail before.
Burrata water, okay.
You know what I mean? So, like, there's a little, so I could see how it could balance. And
Caprice martinis are like pretty big right now.
Yeah, they've been, Oh,
they've been? You're like, I don't like it.
No, I like it, but they've been a thing for a second,
Okay. What about milk for clarifying cocktails? Like, what the heck? What's that?
Yeah, so clarifying a cocktail is a really cool method to make something sustainable, but also make something with a beautiful finish and creaminess to it without having cream technically in it, with citrus. So you basically add everything together, milky substance, usually whole milk. I like coconut milk so that I can make it like say it's vegan. And the oil.
You also definitely can taste the coconut in it.
Yeah. And the milk attaches.
We're talking about the Beverly Hills Hotel.
Beverly Hills Hotel. It's crystal clear with sparkles, and it looks just like the color of the hotel.
Why did you decide to put sparkles in it? Like, there's no taste for it, right?
No. Hollywood, baby.
Just sparkles?
Yeah, come on, sparkle, glamorous, you know? And like that kind of screams Beverly Hills Hotel and like.
Or it's Britney, bitch, one or the other.
Yeah. Okay, Nate, I just want you to know, like, always the back of my mind, it's Britney, bitch. Like, that is like the mantra of life, okay? Like, what would
you're
Britney
serious
do?
Right now?
In a way, kind of. Like, what would Britney do? Yeah. You know what I mean? She'd go for it.
It's crazy where inspirations come from for, I guess, not just your menu, but for like a lot of people's passions. Yeah. Because this menu is like a representation of like who you are.
I know.
You know?
It's so crazy. This is my first menu where it's like fully geeked out, like really me. Like people come to the bar like, this has you written all over it. Like it's so great.
Is the future, what does the future hold for it? Like, do you want to do more of these? Yeah. Is that the goal?
Yeah, the goal is to open more.
Yeah? More bar next doors?
Yeah.
It's such a cool concept.
Yeah.
What are you most excited for in your life right now?
Being successful.
What's your definition of success?
Making money.
Okay. So it's mostly monetary.
I mean, yes, but then also having my work-life balance too, where like I can run a program, step back slightly. Yeah. So I can also pursue other ventures as things and like really like get all the coin. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But also be healthy and try to like have a work-life balance and stuff like that.
What's the importance of doing?
Say open a restaurant.
Yeah, I know that part. It's way harder.
Yeah. So I knew like my first 3 to 6 months were gonna be nuts.
Yeah. What's the importance of doing something that you enjoy or that you're passionate about? Like, what does that do for you? Or what does that do for people?
I think it just like helps you get up during the day and helps you like get going and doing what you got to do. You know, monotony and like something you're not passionate about. Like, no, thank you. Yeah. You know, like did my parents at the beginning when I moved to California be like, you're going to go back to college? And I was like, okay. And I never did. But
Sure.
then they're so happy. Like my dad worked for the same company for 42 years. You know what I mean? Like it's
a long time.
It's a whole different vibe this day and age. Like we can work for ourselves and whatever. And
with the internet too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like for me to like be making cocktails and in the liquor world and actually be passionate about it and not just like making a lot of money at a high volume club. Like I'm actually like feel like I'm producing good stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I feel like you're around like-minded people with this networks and everything.
Yeah.
How does someone get into those networks or build a community or like get into a community that supports like their endeavors? Like how did you do it?
You just show up and serve them too. Yeah. Like they would come in and see you and see what you're doing. So then you'd be a part of it. Like the brand reps would want to come and talk to you about stuff. And then they'd tell you about this event. Then you'd meet another bartender. You know, it would just all like,
come together organically.
Yeah. I talk with my hands.
Oh, good. People will see it. People will see it. Check it out on YouTube, guys.
Yeah. So no, I think that, yeah.
And what's the importance of the community?
I think the importance would probably just be like, everyone being able to talk about their day or you know, bounce ideas off of each other or, you know, if you need someone's help for something, you know, they'll be there for you. Like we have a really good bar community in Los Angeles. Yeah. It's very like, and even like I know people worldwide and like even like statewide and stuff.
Oh,
and
do
like,
you? For it? Yeah.
Yeah. And
I feel like the bartending is exponentially, or the mixology world is growing at an exponential rate.
Oh, it has been, and it is still growing. Yeah. It's wild. It's cool though. You know, the conventions, the stuff, the like Tales of the Cocktails, bar kind of event, you know.
I feel like the non-alcoholic realm is like huge now too.
Yeah, it's booming.
I don't get it. Can you explain it?
Okay, I get it.
Why do you get it?
Because I get people want to not have just a Shirley Temple or like a lemonade or an Arnold Palmer or something. Okay. So I think that it's really cool and beautiful the way that they make the process of these ingredients. You know, like it's cool. The process is cool, and I think it's nice to have someone be able to have something that could resemble something, but it's not going to be the same as like a Manhattan, you know, but it's still fun. You know, I think it gives people options, and who doesn't want to spend money, you know, and make money?
I don't know. I made a non-alcoholic old fashioned, and it just didn't taste good. It just didn't taste good.
The thing is,
but someone ordered 4 of them.
I know, exactly. So make it for him, Nate.
It feels sacrilegious.
Yeah, it is a little bit, but you know what? Some people have the substance abuses, and if they want to feel like they're part of the social atmosphere, like it really is like a thing for people. You know what I mean? So it's for people to be able to like feel like they have something that looks like a cocktail, like let's let them have it. Yeah. You know,
just give it to them.
Just give it to the people.
What's your specs for an Amaro milkshake?
I would say
I'm very curious.
So
when
good.
I saw that, I was like, that sounds fire.
Yeah, so it just depends. You could do an ounce. You can do an ounce and a half. Okay. I wouldn't go...
What's the go-to tomorrow? What are you putting in it?
Okay, I have to say Miletti is one of my favorites because I love their rose, their saffron, that like anise flavor in there. I think Montenegro is a good one. I think Lucano is good. Fernet could even be fun, but maybe I'd not put as much Fernet. Angostura Bitters milkshake is good. A Campari milkshake. Like, let's just go on forever.
Okay. So
like,
you put a ounce and a half ounce
yeah,
of... Okay.
Yeah, and then
into
like
what?
A blender. Okay. I'd put in some cream, like heavy cream too. Okay. You might want to add
just
maybe
like ice cream with it?
Like heavy cream too, but then also, or half and half or something, or whole milk. Yeah. And then like 3 scoops of like vanilla ice cream or a different flavor ice cream. Okay. Blend her up.
Definitely gotta try that.
Oh.
Have you put...
First of all, just try an Angostura milkshake for the first time. Can you do that for me, Nate?
Yeah, I'll make it this week.
Okay, make it this week for a treat for yourself, Mr. Like, I work out all the time, and just have it. And seriously, like, make sure you get the good ratio. And sometimes I put in even a little few cubes of ice to just get that really like cold with the ice cream, like just like 3 to 4 cubes, like nothing crazy.
Is it life changing?
So good, like a dessert cocktail. Like I'm such an aromatic lover, but I fucking love dessert cocktails. Okay, it's so fun.
Okay, I guess we'll end it pretty soon with what is the most proud and tasty cocktail that you are the most proudest of? Like, you're like, this is my baby. I want to be known for this cocktail. Like, this defines me wholeheartedly.
Okay, I will say there's like so many cocktails I've made, but I did make, and it made people so happy, and I had to keep on my soda menu for many years, and I make it every year for my family. I made an alcoholic version of butterbeer from Harry Potter that was like done right. And like I would like
that sounds fire.
It was fire. And I bottled it, so you'd get this Soto Pop, and it was like butterbeer. And like you pour it over an Angostura bitters whipped cream, and it just was like, I couldn't take it off the menu. People were like so excited
like,
that I made this. Like,
did you put it as butterbeer? Oh,
yeah,
that's crazy.
I know, right?
And do you get credited for it at Soto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not open anymore.
Oh.
Place. But maybe for Halloween or Christmas, I'll make a batch or something. We'll do something at the bar next door for it.
Cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this bar goes and this program goes. And then hopefully we could have you on in a couple more years and just see. Like,
I'll just be like, oh my gosh, Nate, we have 10 of them now.
We got 10 of them.
I'm just kidding.
Is the idea to have like characteristics of wherever the town is around them? Yeah. Like it's the bar next door.
I think. I mean, that's kind
of
like
that has to be it.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
And you just do research in those areas.
And I think we're in California. Yeah. We're in these cities. Again, wherever we go, I think I'd try to bring in some like, history and all that stuff, and
I'm excited.
And allure.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's
I love
exciting.
your passion. Thank you for coming on.
Of course, I appreciate you. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Where can everyone find you?
They can find me at the bar next door because I live there.
Yeah, right now, currently, Brynn is there probably 5 days a week.
Okay, 5. You're nice. More than that. But hopefully 5 soon. And then Bartending Pretty on the interwebs at Bartending.
Do you still do consulting or anything like that?
Yeah.
Can they hit you up?
Yeah, hit me up.
Hit me up there?
Hit me up. Sweet. I am always ready to embark on new adventures.
Cool. Hit up Brynn, y'all, and we'll see you in the next one.
Okay, bye.
Bye.